Alright, hey, what's going on, everybody? So this is the part 2 Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG overview, review, kind of a deep dive on what the game is about. Get the word out there, get people get a chance to actually try it, and start looking at some of the products associated with it, because it'll just change your life. So last time we talked about doing the 0 level of the funnel. The one that obviously you roll hit points. I kind of forgot that, sorry. It's a given. You roll hit points, it's a 1d4. Plus or minus your stamina. You can start out with 1 hit point. You can start out with 8 hit points or 7 hit points. Sorry. Actually, you could start out with far more than that. You can go as high as 10, actually, depending on your birth augur, your luck score, and your roll. But it doesn't really matter. The highest hit point character on our game on Saturday night was one of my guys, and he had 5 hit points. And he was a god amongst men, compared to everyone else having 1 and 2 hit points. So, character classes. We talked about them. Again, they're obviously well known. They're classic classes being brought into that neoclassic era with some modern trapping sprinkled on top, and that's how they move forward. And then the neoclassic ideas are very clear, and you'll see as we go through these. The first one up is the cleric. So the cleric uses D8 hit points. They're basically what you think they are. It doesn't have to be like, the armored holy, the Templar, the mendicant kind of knight in the Middle East. It can be that, depending on your alignment, depending on how you see it. It could be a druid. It could anything you got and want to throw at it. Cleric is just simply a stupid moniker, right? That's easy. Any synonym or any noun you want to throw in there that describes someone who worships a deity. All right. And cast spells on behalf of that deity and acts on behalf of that deity is the cleric. Speaking of deities, so your choice of deities is obviously tied to your alignment, and the choice of deity will also dictate 2 things. It will dictate your weapon choice, and it will also dictate your turn on holy. Those things you considered profane to your faith. So the armor, clerics, you might expect that the armor selection is very broad. Weapon selection, again, is limited to what's on your deity. It's lawful is like maces and clubs and staves, that kind of thing. Neutral can use some of the general stuff, plus swords. Chaos gets to use axes and daggers, wicked kind of weapons. The just hacking kind of weapons. If you're looking at it. So that's the deity. You got to do it. You got to choose a deity. Oh, so magic. So you gain magic spells from your deity, obviously. Where this is different than most D20 games you're used to is that the cleric starts off with 4 spells, right? And when cleric casts spells, they do not lose them after they cast them. They're not wiped from memory. Maybe. The key word is if you cast the spell, because there is a spell casting check. Fortunately, you make the roll. There's bonuses you get to add into it, personality level, all that jazz, to do it. But there's a threshold. You have to meet a certain DC, and we'll get into that. And then when we talk about spells, and then another video, probably the last video. But you make the roll. So if you roll between 2 and just under the DC, it's considered a failure. So if you fail, you have earned disapproval from your deity. You obviously did not try hard enough. Don't care that the dice are randomizers. Save your excuses. God does not have time for your excuses. Do better next time. Disapproval, there's a chart. You can gain disapproval. You get to roll on the chart and find out how upset deity is with you. And it's not like you're going to burn up and shit and die immediately. It's not like that. It's fun little things that increase role-playing possibilities for your cleric. It's pretty cool, actually. So every time you fail to cast a spell, right, your disapproval increases by 1 step. The range for the natural fumble range for your spell goes from a 1 to a 2 to a 3 it starts to increase. It starts to widen. You can actually screw yourself depending on how often you're trying to fire off spells, and either successful or not successful. So how do you get rid of disapproval? So you can get rid of disapproval by making sacrifices. Now the baseline is 50 gold points is equal to 1 point of disapproval, a reduction. We don't mean literal gold pieces. It could be. It could be you can make an offering or a tithing to the church. Sure, if you want to go that route. But again, you look at the disapproval that you gain. If you gain disapproval, and it's a chance to roleplay. Like, okay, what do I need to do to shake this? Well, let's look at what happened. It's a good opportunity for you and the GM to interact and get the party involved. Be like, hey guys, straight up, I've been fucking up lately, and I need your help. And here's what we got to do, according to my bishop or high priest or whatever. Doesn't really matter. You make sacrifice. Make that sacrifice. Another way to gain disapproval is to act in sin, and that is just doing something that is the antithesis to your deity's ethos. It's up to interpretation. What it is, some things will be obvious. You're killing innocents if you're lawful, all that jazz would be. And it's a severe increase in disapproval. It's not like 1 point. It's 10-point block. Like, bam, you are screwed, son. You are not going to be casting spells well. I'm going to get your ass until you get it straight. So it's like I said, it's up to its interpretation. If you have someone chaotic in the party, I probably wouldn't penalize you. If you were also proselytizing to the party member and trying to heal them, right, it would be different. Then I wouldn't really hold it against you. But if you're just healing willy-nilly, oh no, that's going to be a sin because you're not doing what you need to be doing. So again, it's the open thing. Turn unholy. We talked about turn unholy. They have it, kind of what you expect it to be. The difference is it's not limited to undead. If you're a lawful cleric, you can turn the undead, but you can also turn chaotic humanoids, orcs, goblins. You can hold those bastards at bay with the straight-up divine power of righteousness. Neutrality has a whole list of things that they can turn, like unnatural beasts, shit like that. Like a manicore, a neutral priest could hold them at bay. Or kill or damage it. That's sort of how it goes. You either turn, damage, or kill, and you have a certain number of hit dice based on how well you roll and where they are on the chart. Chaos, obviously, is the antithesis of law, so it's turning like paladins and lawful clerics, things like that. You can you really go to town on it. Very cool system. I do like. I like the fact that they include it's not just undead. There are things that we just do not like in our faith. And we go out of our way to make life miserable for them. Let's see. Clerics also... sorry, I have to read the notes. Clerics also can lay on hands. Now, I'm not talking some piddly bullshit lay on hands where it's 2 hit points per level and no one gives a shit because thank you very much. Wow, you've applied a divine bandage to us. Whoop-dee. Now, this is serious. Lay on hands. You don't lose it. You don't use it once per day. You use it. Now, there is a roll, obviously. Failure is disapproval. So, you got to watch it. Using it in sin, which you can, is disapproval. So, you make your check. What you're looking at is you're going to gain a die type and a certain number of dice that you can heal based on how well you do. The die type correlates not to you, but to the person you're healing. Warriors use a different hit die than if you were healing a mage or a thief or anything else. It correlates to the class that you're healing, not a D8 flat out. No, that's ridiculous. You actually get in there and empower these people. And it's their life force you're giving back to them, not anything else. So... you get a set number you can roll, and the better you roll, the more dice you get. The issue comes in is that you have a little chart. It's your alignment, and then the person your alignment you're trying to heal. The further away from your alignment they are, the less dice you can actually heal. So there's some cool role playing we've had happen in a game or two. Someone playing a cleric, lawful cleric, or whatever. And they go to heal a party member and hey, I rolled outstanding. I got 4 dice. This is awesome. I'm fixing all your wounds. And then as the GM, you're like, okay, you rolled well. Congratulations. You feel the raw energy of the divine flows through you. Go ahead and roll your 2 dice for healing. You're like, wait a minute, wait. I rolled 4 dice. I know, but only 2 of them are going to take. And then you see it click you son of a bitches. You are a chaotic asshole this whole time, and I did not know it. And then that's when the role-playing starts. The character interaction, you start going to it, and how are you going to handle it, how are you going to handle it. Really presents a lot of really cool possibilities. Also, there are specific injuries that can happen, so like a broken bone, punctured lungs, whatever. And if you want to try to heal those, there's have like a generic type of wound that correlates to a certain number of dice, and you declare that before you do the lay on hands, and then you can heal. You can try to roll the number of dice and heal that wound. So it works out well. It has to be declared before that's what you're going for. You're targeting your energy to a specific task. It's more of a focus thing. And the last thing, clerics can call on divine aid. They can ask for the divine to intercede on their behalf in a bad situation. Oh, please do not let it hit me in the face, kind of shit. And you can fail that divine aid check, and that is disapproval. No deity wants to be bothered with your piddly pissant problems while they're off doing greater things in the cosmos. But when they do come, yeah, man, they bring it, right? It's God. That's how it is. That's the cleric in a nutshell. Like I said, they're just similar to classic D&D and modern, but they just go one step over. The fact that they have those spells and they don't lose the spells, the lay on hands, it just ratchets it up one notch, man. And they set the bar a lot higher. And that's going to be a repeated theme in all these classes. Goodman Games is amazing. The Thief, next. The Thief has D6 hit points. The Thief has all the thiefy skills that you could ever want. The thiefiest thief that ever thiefed. They don't have to be thiefiest thief, right? You can play however you want, but their skills are oriented in a certain way. I'll go ahead and read the skills off to you because there's no way to memorize this. Backstab, sneak, hide, pickpockets, climb, sheer surfaces, not just climb a tree, dumb shit like that. I'm talking sheer surfaces, tough shit to climb, like a chimney, right? A tall ass chimney. Pick locks, detect and remove traps, forge documents, disguise, comprehend languages, use poison, and cast spells from scrolls. Those are all thief skills. And those skills are augmented as bonuses based on your alignment you choose. A lawful thief is better at certain things than a chaotic thief is, because of how you're set up mentally for your guild or your gang or whatever you run with. Even if you're the lone wolf, I am no family, I am an orphan, I don't give a shit. Pick an alignment, and that's how it's going to be. So it's pretty cool how that works. I really enjoy that, because in the alignment wise, you think, you know, to get a feel for it, lawful thieves are more like mafiosos, right? They have rules. There's things that can and cannot be done within the organization. Bam, lawful thieves. Neutral thieves are more like con men. They don't have any victims to their crimes, so they just kind of go at it and they do their thing, and their bonuses are applied in you'll see that obviously forge will be a lot higher for them than it is anyone else. And chaotic thieves they relegate them to sort of hitmen, but it's not really the be-all, end-all. I mean, you could be a chaotic thief who happens to be a second story man. He may not be as good at it as a lawful thief, but being he's chaotic, he's a second story man, but when a lawful neutral thief gets in and gets out, the chaotic guy might get in there and be like, you know what, you got too much shit, you rich prick. So he just starts breaking all your stuff that he doesn't want, and then heads on out, right? Just kind of a vindictive or whatever. Just it's chaos, man. It's change. It's crazy. And they speak Thieves' Cant. So for Thieves' Cant, helpful hint, two of them. The one is there's an actual dictionary from the 1800s or early 20th century, one of the two. But it's of Thieves' Cant from England, from London specifically. And it is a very cool dictionary. It really can get you into role-playing a thief. It just takes you that one step up when you're actually, you think Ocean's 11 when they start doing the plans and they're like, oh, we're going to do, a Helen Keller on this. Everyone else is like, what the fuck's a Helen Keller? And the thief is like, oh, don't worry, I got this. I'll explain it to you. Right, so that, and then I would also try to learn like how Cockney rhyming works, because you could create a few little sayings or whatever for your thief, and kind of use that. It's very clever, very cool, very neat. Once you learn how it works, it's actually not that complicated. It's just complicated learning how they think, how the words go together. That can be a little weird, especially for Americans. The last thing for the thief that makes them incredibly handy to have around is luck. So, I said everyone can burn luck. 1 point of luck gets burnt for a +1 to whatever you need to do. You can't burn as many as you want at one time. It doesn't matter, right? Because your luck's gone, it's gone, unless great things happen in your life. Where the thief differs is the thief burns 1 point of luck for 1 die type, and the thief's die type he gets increases as they go up a level. So that's the bonus. So you roll that randomly, and that random die roll will be the bonus you're applying to whatever you need that luck for. Incredibly powerful. These can pull the whole party's ass out of a fire rapidly by burning luck. Where the thief also differs is the thief's luck restores itself. 1 point per thief level as they rest. They are incredibly lucky, shifty bastards. Great to have in a party. That is the thief. Next, my personal favorite, the warrior is the DCC character from our Saturday game that I chose to go into. I'm going to play a warrior, only because I want to see I really want to get into the war. I think they're well done. They're, in my opinion, I said they're better than any D20 edition that's out there, even better than the classic. It gives you a lot of things to do as a warrior that don't require skills and feats and other nonsense. They give you things that allow you to unlock your imagination and get in there and just do. So the warrior uses a D12 for hit points. Their attack bonus is not a static attack bonus. It is a die type that they roll, and that gives them a fluctuating bonus. So yeah, you roll your attack roll plus you roll this attack bonus die, and maybe a +3, maybe a +7. It depends on what it is, what level you are, and what die type you have. But it's awesome. You cannot be understated how powerful that can become for a warrior to do that. Mighty Deed of Arms. So warriors get in there and they do crazy epic shit in combat, like throw the spear at the enemy and close the distance, and then round kick the spear on the end of the shaft further through the guy for extra damage or to try to kill him. That's an example of a Mighty Deed of Arm. And what they do is they have what they call a deed die. That die also increases as they go up in levels. You have to declare the Mighty Deed before you attack. Then you roll the attack. If the deed die is a 3 or higher, then the deed succeeds, and you go into this. You do the cool combat maneuver that just ends people. And as always at the end, there's a whole list. When we get in the combat section, I'll give you some examples that they've talked about in the Mighty Deed of Arms. And then they do encourage you to develop like a signature move, right, for your warrior when you're going to try to end the combat. When you know the enemy is down low and you're like, oh, I'm going to end this. That's when I throw the spear and I just, run up and just front kick the shit out of that spear through the guy. And that's your signature move, right? And it's kind of a cool thing. You're like, oh my god, this guy's that crazy fucker who likes to kick spears through people. Pretty cool. So there are criticals in the game, and we'll talk about that in combat. But there are criticals, and warriors are potent combatants like they're supposed to be. It's not just I hit, I miss, I hit, I miss. My attack bonus goes up. No. So the critical threat range in the game is a natural 20 for most people. The warrior starts out 19 to 20, and that range widens as they go up levels. They are going to end your ass in combat the higher level they get. It is going to become more and more dangerous to face a warrior, and not just because they have stupid feats or their attack bonus is egregious. It is because their critical threat range is amazing, and there is no confirming a goddamn critical in this game. You either got it or you don't. Damn you, Pathfinder. Sorry, not just Pathfinder, but goddamn 3rd edition. Confirming criticals, my ass. What else? Initiative bonus. The warrior adds his level to the initiative bonus. So if you're 3rd level warrior, you have +3 to initiative right off the bat, in addition to whatever else you have. That's awesome. Cannot be understated. They are the experts. They also have a luck bonus, if they have one. They take that luck bonus and they can apply it to one type of weapon. Long sword, short sword, long bow, bow in general, quite honestly, is how I would play it. Axe, spear, something. Right? They apply that bonus to that. That becomes like that specialization. Like, I am a badass, but if I draw this weapon, I'm going to wreck shit up around you, and I'm going to bring pain into your world. So that's kind of how it goes. And again, it kind of comes down to the warrior is not your asshat militiaman. It's not what they are. Your warriors are those trained badasses. They are really more like the special forces of the fantasy world. They are trained to take a beating and to deliver pain and death unto an enemy. That's the warrior. Wizards. Yeah, man. As I said before in another video, if you want power, Wizards are incredible in this game. Let's get into it with them. They roll D4 for hit points. Trust me, it's not going to matter. It might matter, right? It's DCC. It might matter. But it won't matter when you see how the magic is crazy. Again, one of the perks they get is off the top is they have more languages than anybody else in the game. They start off with their language, which is usually common. They get 2 times their intelligence bonus in extra languages, which is crazy. That could be a shit ton of languages if you have a high end. There's no guarantee you have a high intelligence, but if you do, wow, man, you are just out there with the linguistics. Weapons and armor. So, armor-wise, in the wizard portion, it says they rarely wear armor. Rarely being a key word. When we get into the combat and the gear, yeah, we'll get into that. Weapons. They are trained in daggers, staff, the usual nonsense, bows, swords. Yeah, bows and swords. They can use them. They're not limited. They're not being punished. It doesn't matter if you're a wizard and you pick up a sword and you walk your ass into a melee. You're either a fucking idiot or you have got something going on that nobody else knows about. Or you're just desperate. Right? So magic. Like the clerics, wizards start with 4 spells. Also, they don't lose the spells when they cast them. They don't go away, maybe, based on how well you're doing. So there's a spell check. It's the DC of the spell. So the DCs for the spells is 10 plus 2 times the level of the spell. Right? You get that number or better in order to cast a spell. The spell check is done on a D20 plus the wizard's level plus their intelligence bonus. That can change and fluctuate. And we can talk about how the spells work and whatnot in the higher levels. Things can actually get very good or very bad for a wizard when it comes to spell casting. Patrons. You saw the other video on the book that Dragon's Court Publishing wrote. Patrons are huge for wizards and elves. They have to have a patron. They pick one. It's something they can align themselves to. The patrons have crazy backstories. Their purpose, right, for why they're doing what they're doing. It's almost like a warlock where the wizard and the elf have entered into a pact. And they say, I will follow and I will act as your agent in the world. Help me learn these secrets, right? I have I have the Necronomicon. I don't get it. And they say, all right, don't worry. Bam, we're going to help you out. We'll teach you. So they have these patrons. Now the patron has a patron bond. That's the first thing that has to happen in order for you to effectively use the patron. You have to undergo the patron bond. It could be a series of acts. It could be spell. It could be any number of things based on the patron. In like the 4 maidens, right? From the 4 maidens if you didn't watch the video, there's 4 maidens, and there's 4 lakes in this region. Each maiden is a guardian patron of a lake. The patron bond involves spell casting, involves these rites, and ultimately it culminates in you having to deep dive, like pearl dive, down into the bottom of the lake and gather a stone from the lake. And you got to do it from each lake. And then on top of that, you have to carry those stones with you. That's the only way the patrons work outside the lake, that region of where the lakes are. If you lose one of the stones and you cannot get it back, you're done. You have to go back and redo the entire patron bond ritual all over again. But there's cool role-playing opportunity in that, actually, for an NPC wizard. That as soon as I read it, I was like, bam, I got an idea. So the patron, so that's the bond. You have to bond with the patron. And that can be dangerous. It's not a guarantee. You can do it, but there might be a price for you bonding, trying that bond. Like anything else in this game, success is not guaranteed, and there's no winning in Dungeon Crawl Classics. So then you have the spells. You have patron spells. There are 3 spells per patron, a 1st, a 2nd, and 3rd level. Sounds weak, but don't worry. Spells only go to 5th level anyway. And the 3 spells you get from patron are usually badass. They are themed to the patron. And they can be, you're calling a horde to help fight. You're being whisked away. You're being protected. They're very much themed to the patron. And they will help you out. And they have patrons, the patron spells, and you can invoke the patron, right? So you try to get the patron to come and intercede on your behalf, send some assistance some way, somehow, show up themselves, send a goddamn butterfly swarm, whatever it takes to help you survive so you can further being their agent. Now, when you do this, you can actually do, there's an invoke patron spell, and you can do spell burn on this one, right? And this spell burn in general, when we get into it, you'll see. So you can actually burn your ability scores for a moment. They can come back, but you can actually lower strength, stamina. You can lower your stats to increase your bonus and your chance to cast magic. And sometimes, if you do it wrong, the loss can be permanent. But the magic is so potent and so powerful that it's worth it, and it becomes an addiction for spellcasters, especially wizards and elves. Let's see so let me do this. I won't read from Sean's book, but I will take a gander. Sorry, we're doing this ad hoc. I didn't really mark it, but whatever. I want to take a look at some of the patrons. And of course I can't find it because I have the first edition of the book and there's no fucking index. Alright, here we go. Patrons. Let me just get a good one because I don't like the frog one. Okay, Azidaka. Right, Azidaka is the demon prince of storms and waste. So, when you try to invoke Azidaka, right, here's an average, the very minimum. Azidaka sends a bolt of static lightning toward one of the caster's enemies. Right, and then it gives the damage and the range and all that jazz. The higher level, a spectral hydra shimmers into existence like a mirage, and this is a higher roll, not a level, sorry, above the sands. Its 7 heads bite and breathe flame on the caster's enemies. And then it goes on to tell you the range and how much damage